let's actually talk about the NFC North. I wanted to get Courtney's opinion on this as well. It's a heavyweight division right now. I don't ever remember in my time as a Bears fan the division being this good, like top to bottom. I think they're like what 20 and what 6 right now, record wise, which is crazy. If the playoffs started today, all 4 teams would be in the playoffs. My question, for everybody here is how many wins is it going to take to win this division? Because I think for the Bears, every game is important, obviously, even the NFC games, because if you don't win a division, you got to have a better conference record to get one of those wild cards. Me personally, I think it's going to take at least 11 games to win this division. That's the bare minimum. And it might even take 12 or 13. But I think 11 to be in there, and I think for the Bears to have an actual shot and win the division, I think they got to win these next 3. I think if you go 2-1 in the next 3 and you go into the gauntlet from hell at 6-3, you still got a chance to win the division. But I think it's a very, very low chance, and you're gonna have to do something like go 4-2 or 5-1 in your division games. Which, let's be real, I'm not expecting them to do. That's why I feel like they need to win these next 3, go 7-2, and give themselves a legitimate shot to actually win this division. Courtney, what do you think? I'm gonna give your opinion. How many wins you think it's gonna take to actually win the NFC North?
I agree with you wholeheartedly. Again, as someone who had a lot of smoke, especially for the Vikings, to come start this season, I did not expect it to go in this direction. So, I can't say that I spend too much time weighing how many. I'm just mostly entertained by the fact. First off, that game yesterday was that was good football.
Yeah.
That was good football, and I'm very excited to see. I never thought I'd ever say that in my life. I am very excited to watch the Bears next weekend.
Neither have we.
I think that's the first time that's ever come out of my mouth. Pause.
And yeah, neither have we. Have I ever? I actually sat up there watching football last night. Like, damn, I wish the Bears were playing today. That has never ever been uttered. Usually, I'm like, I get a week off from the bullshit. That actually happened.
You got to sit back, relax, listen to.
That was a good thing. Yeah. If you take the I worked the game aspect out of it, yeah, I enjoyed the fuck out of yesterday. I was chilling. I had nobody bother me. It was a good time. I didn't have to worry about what dry ass chicken they serve in the Soldier Field for the lunch today. Like I didn't have to worry about that. Dante, what's your take on the North, and what do you think? How many wins are gonna take to win a division, and can the Bears be anything less than 7-2 heading into the Packers game and have a shot to win it?
No, this is why I felt like we needed to at least be 4-1. It's 5-0 would be best headed into our division schedule, because I think the game we saw Sunday between Detroit and the Packers is a lot of what you're gonna see with all of these division matches. Wait, I'm sorry, was it Detroit and the Packers or Detroit and Minnesota?
Last night, Detroit, Minnesota.
Yeah, Detroit and Minnesota. And so, like, those are the games that we're gonna get in these division matchups, bro. I think it's really gonna be a battle and back and forth. And so, with that, I think you need to give yourself as big of a cushion as possible. And so, you do need to be 7-2, because I think it's gonna take. You got to think, before the season, we said 13 wins was gonna win this division. Like, because we were talking about how Detroit doesn't have many outdoor games and they have a pretty favorable schedule. And it's it's starting to shake out that way. So I think it's gonna take it's gonna take 13 wins to win it to win this division. I think it's gonna take 13 wins to win the actual division, because I think you're gonna have a point where we get 2, if not 3 teams into the playoffs. Like the way it's shaping up, I know we're gonna bump heads and play knock each other off a little bit, but I think it's gonna take 13 wins to win this division.
My hot take is, though, it's probably not a hot take. I do believe all 4 are going to make it, because I believe that if you look at the NFC South, if you look at the NFC East, I'm just not high on the Eagles. I do think, barring Jaden's health, that Washington's going to win the division. But it's something where if you look at the NFC, West, what's going to happen with the Niners? I think they fall off a little bit. Like, Atlanta. Like Atlanta was looking like they didn't know what the fuck they was doing yesterday. So I do believe there's going to be something that's going to allow all four of these teams to get in. Like Damien said, never would have imagined Jared Goff, Sam Darnold matchup would be great football. Shannon Mack, good point too. Going 7-2 in the Packers game, I think that's a good chance that game gets flexed on the Sunday night. I don't know what the Sunday night game is for that week, but it wouldn't shock me whatsoever. Mikey, what do you think the Bears' record needs to be headed into that Packers game, have a legitimate shot to win the division, and how many wins do you think it's going to take to win the division?
Well, to your last point, it would be Colts Jets Sunday night football. So that's definitely a flexible game. That
Well,
the
that just
Bears
got
Packers.
flexed. That just got
No, no,
flexed
no,
into
no,
a
no.
play.
That's a different. That's a whole different one. Um, the November, the one that just got flexed is week 9, Colts Vikings.
Oh,
So
yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah, definitely.
that's when we play the Cardinals. So we're looking at week 11. That would be the game that would get flexed. But for me, I think it's gonna probably take between 11 and 12 wins. Just because I feel like the NFC North is gonna beat up on each other. You know, we saw already the Vikings have gotten one up on the Packers. The Lions have gotten one on the Vikings. I think both teams that already took L's can find a way to bounce back and get their W's back. So I think it's going to take 12 wins to win the division. I personally have not set my sights on the division just because I feel like we're still not at the level of, say, the Lions. I think the Lions are really about to kind of like take off and run off with this division. I think the Vikings are gonna. I think we're starting to see some regression in Sam Darnold's performance. The defense is gonna travel, but I think the Lions will still end up on top of the division. It's just all about stacking up as many wins. Like Shane O'Mac said, 7-2 getting the Packers week is a great spot because right now the Bears are favored against the Viking or against the Commanders. They should probably be favored against the Cardinals, and they will be favored against the Patriots. And those will be the only 3 games for the rest of the year that they'll be favored in, barring injury. So we're getting out of that easy streak and getting into real football. So I say 12 wins will win the division just because I think eventually everybody in the division is going to be split 3-3. And that's when it's going to get really messy because then you start looking at common opponents. And, for the Bears right now, they would be losing in that aspect with the Packers because they've already lost to the Texans and the Packers will beat the Texans. The Lions still have the Texans coming up. The Vikings have beat the Texans. So that's why it's important to handle, all of your games every week.
Yeah, and I think, I'm with you. I don't have the Bears like in division championship. When I look at these other teams, I still think there's a caliber of play that the Bears aren't at yet. Not to say they can't get there this year. I think everything's on the table, but I just think this is a higher upper echelon of football that the other 3 teams are playing. But I had the Lions winning, going to the Super Bowl, and I haven't seen anything maybe change my mind of that. I do think that they're going to make a trade deadline. I think they're gonna make a fucking trade because they know this is their window. And that's why I think it's gonna have an ad on that. Bane, take us home on this topic, man. What do you think the Bears' record needs to be heading into the Packer game to have a legit shot at the division? And how many wins ultimately do you think it will take to win the division?
Well, I predicted the Bears to be at 7-2 before they go up against Green Bay. I'm staying with that. So that's one. The second thing is I think you're gonna need 12, 13 wins to win this division. I believe that the Lions and the Packers are officially head and shoulders above everybody. But that don't mean they can't falter on the way there, because those teams could definitely do that. But I don't think that they will. I think this division remains hot. And if they remain hot, you're going to need 12, 13 games to win this division. And what that means also, too, is there's going to have to be one team that really just comes out and becomes the head of the pack. And I'm wondering if that's going to be the Lions or the Packers. And you still can't discount the Vikings, mainly because that game against the Lions was close the entire game. That game could have went either way. It was a couple of mistakes that was made on both sides of the ball. When they got that fumble from David Montgomery towards the end of the game, they thought that was a wrap then. So this division is going to be highly competitive. They're going to beat the people outside the division, and then they're going to beat up on each other. And the person that gets 12, 13 games is going to win the division.
So cool.
Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah we cold too. Getting paper on these player haters, old news. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm